Hello, my name is Jude here with my wife, the lovely, the beautiful, amazing, incredible Madame Sandra Donfac. And welcome back to Limitless Education Group. Welcome back to our channel, my friends. Today we have a special announcement for you. What is that? We are pregnant.
Oh, so you're pregnant? Show me the belly.
I ate a lot last night, and so I was pregnant for a little bit, but she's actually pregnant with our first baby, beautiful daughter. And we wanted to make this video to share with you why we're having a child, what it means to have a child in this world, and how we're taking education and parenting in a whole different direction. And so how our child will be supported to be one of the future leaders of this world. You're gonna remember her name for a long time. So why are we pregnant? Man, we've been working in education for some time now. Been working with a bunch of different types of families, from people that do homeschooling, from people that keep their kids in school and they end up becoming the best students in the class, people whose kids started off very poor, almost getting kicked out of school because of their behavior, because of their grades and such like that, and just being able to transform their lives. And after working with so many students, so many families, I just see how important it is to be able to develop a child properly from the beginning, right? Obviously, some of the families that we work with, they come in and their kids can get a radical transformation, but it's always best when your child starts from scratch, right? It's always best when you can support them from zero to forever to have the foundation for the rest of their lives to be actually the best possible version of themselves, right?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why we actually became parent before getting pregnant. I'm gonna give you an analogy or whatever. So whatever you are today, let's just say you are a doctor, a nurse, lawyer,
engineer.
Yeah, imagine you are that, right? How many years did you go to school to be able to get that degree? And usually when I ask this question, people are like, it took me 5 years. I'm like, what do you mean it took you 5? Let's just say someone is like, I am a lawyer, and they're gonna tell me how many years.
Well, 12 years, K through 12, then 4 years.
Yeah, but babe, usually people think about university or college when they're answering that question.
Yeah.
How many years would that be?
That'd be 6 years.
Okay, usually people are gonna tell me 6 years, and I'm like, what do you mean 6 years? For you to be able to go to college or university, you have to go to high school, and for you to go to high school, you have to go to
middle school.
Yeah, and usually even before middle school, what do you have?
Elementary school.
And before elementary school, what do you have? Preschool. So usually, what am I saying? Usually, it's the requirement for you to go through all of that before you get to university or college. And of course, sometimes some people, because of whatever, is gonna be different. Sometimes the time you will see one 10-year-old in a college, but that's once in a million, right? So to become a lawyer, now tell us how long from the pre-K, if someone went to pre-K to the day they become a lawyer, how long is that?
So K through 12, right? That's 12 years of schooling. Even pre-K, that you started that at 3 years old, 4 years old. You start first grade at 6 years old, kindergarten, 5 years old. So let's say 12 years for basic K through 12, right? Up to high school. Then you're gonna spend another 4 years in university for your undergraduate degree, right? Your bachelor's. So from there, you probably maybe studying criminal justice or political science in order to get into law school. So after you finish from university, 4 years undergrad, you gotta go into law school, which is another 2 years, right? Then you're in that you're in that school for 2 years, and then you gotta pass a really big test, a really hard exam, right? And then can you finally start to actually practice law? So that's total 12 plus 4 plus 2, maybe one more to study. That's 18, 19 years.
Yeah, and sometimes there's something on your way where you have to, it's gonna be postponed for maybe a year or 3 years, whatever. So I'm gonna give you my personal example. I, from the view of the society, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I got that degree in my hand when I was 26, and I started pre-K when I was 2 years old. So that's 24 years old being in that system of, this is the path I'm gonna take to get my degree. So I can go into depth on, some people are like, oh, that's too long. But that's a lot of people, actually. I can explain that in another video, but that's not the case today. So just to say, I was 26 when I got my degree in my hand, where the system is like, yeah, now you're able to go and practice, right? So how come it took me 24 years to be able to be called an engineer, but then when it's time to have kids, become a parent, the society is in a place where you just wake up one day and you're like, I'm ready. And of course, usually it's like finances is usually the 95% of why people don't or have kids is money. It's like 95% of the time it's like, okay, I'm financially stable, I'm gonna have kids. It's literally, but can I right now, because I'm financially stable, go to a clinic and be like, I want to practice here? What are they gonna ask me?
You say, what's your credentials?
Exactly.
Where's your license?
Exactly. So how come there's no credential required from this society when it comes to become a parent? Like, wouldn't you agree that being a parent is the most important, crucial job on earth? Like, when you think about society, is people, the collection of individuals that create a society. And if the individual is not at their utmost potential, then the society is just going to reflect that. And think about what the society is today. It just tells you where the parenting of our society is. So that's something that popped in my mind when I think I was 22. When I was like, look, I'm going to school, I'm studying to be this and that, but I want to be a parent and I actually don't know how to be a parent. And then I was like, at that time, that's what I said to myself. I said, I need to go to a school where I'm also going to be taught on how to be parent and have my credential before I become a parent. So that's why, like my husband was saying, the part where we were like, okay, knowing how to start them right. And it starts with you. If you're not yet pregnant, you have to start now. Like, but we are going to share with you how we did it. It's not school, of course. At that time, I said the word school because that's all I knew. But in reality, when I got my degree in my hands, and I'm sure you're gonna testify to this, I was like, this is it. So now you're telling me I can do this. But in reality, I didn't know, excuse me for the word, but I didn't know anything.
Right.
I had that thing in my hands, but be self-honest. Didn't you just memorize and you went there and you got the test? How come you are giving a degree, like a credential of, oh, you are able to do this, but deep down, you don't know how to do that thing because you just memorized and you went and you wrote, you passed your exam, but 3 days, 5 days after, you don't even recall. Even the memorization, you don't even recall. Now when you talk about actually doing it, like you can't do it. So I was just like, I realized that thinking of with the starting point of I want a school that's going to teach me how to be a parent, I just thought about, even if there's a school like that, it's going to be the same. I'm going to memorize, I'm going to get a credential, I'm going to forget. When the baby is going to come, I'm going to be lost.
Right.
Because it's not a knowingness, it's just memorization.
You'd be stuck. And like for me, kind of on that similar point of, I didn't even know that I would get to this point one day in life. The way that I got to this point, that we got to this point, is through being educated through people, right?
So you're saying that you didn't want kids?
Saying that I always kind of thought about it. It was always in the back of my head, but part of me didn't believe that, it really happened at this point, right? That we're at. Maybe be further on down the line, or maybe I get lucky, right? I get lucky and find an amazing, beautiful woman and we happen to have kids together, right? It wasn't planned out in the way that we've actually planned it now, right? With purpose, with the principle, right? Because going back when I had first, because you said, again, you always envisioned a place where you could learn how to actually properly be a parent, right?
Yeah.
And that you call it school, but it ended up not being a school type of situation.
Yeah, exactly.
It ended up being through other people, through community, through support, right? And that's
real education.
Real education. That's what real education is. Like, you could possibly maybe get educated in a school, but school and education are two different things.
Yeah, exactly.
when I first got into business, I actually stumbled upon it because I was in China during that time. And even though I went to school to study psychology, I started doing music part-time while I was in school. And after I graduated, moved abroad to Beijing, where I was a private tutor, education consultant. I also was doing music at the same time. And what supported me to gain confidence in being able to really take music to the next level was the people I was around who also were heavily into arts. They showed me how I could start selling my photography. I could start selling my photos. I could start selling my music to other people. And like just being in that environment supported me to learn how to navigate in that world, right? Yeah. That's not something that I learned in a classroom type setting.
Yeah.
Right. And so the problem is that in the society that we have today, the school system has been built for, first and foremost, it's over 200 years old, right? Hasn't changed in the last 50 years, right? So it's not setting up children to be actually the best version of themselves in today's world. And as a parent, isn't that what you want?
It's not even setting them up for the job market, because sometimes what some parents would say is like when you ask them, okay, why are you sending your kid to school? The answer is, I want them to have a job. But how come the place where you are sending them, it's 20 years old, but the society is going further and further? But you have a better way to explain that part.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're in the 21st century, right? Right now, just speaking, there's AI, there's automation, there's robotics that are coming into the economy and starting to take over opportunities, right? But our education system hasn't changed in the last 50 years, right? So like I said, it's not setting up your child to be the best they could be in this new economy, right? And so what we do and what we've been doing and why we're at this point now that we have our own child coming, why we see it so prevalent is setting up our children, also your children, to have resources where they can be able to take control back and take responsibility for their own education, for their own future, right? We've got kids that we've been working with for the past few years where now they're 6, 7, 8 years old and they've already started their own small little businesses, right? Imagine a child that's 6, 7 years old having a business, an understanding of how assets work, an understanding of how liabilities work, right? How creating value works. Are they ever going to have a problem in the economy? Are they ever going to have to worry about, are they going to be able to make money to survive or not? No, it's because they have the ability to be able to create for themselves, right? To actually be the best version of themselves and be leaders, right? In their own world, their own family, but also in the world as a whole, right? And so that's why we set up everything that we've been doing for the past few years is for this point of having our first child, right?
Yeah.
And then also for our future children so that they can also be, and they will also be empowered with these same tools, with these same principles, with this group, with these communities to support them to, no matter what happens, have the best opportunities. Right?
Yeah.
Because they have that foundation.
And I like it how you started the video on, we want to share why we decided to have a kid. And I don't think it's a question that people ask themselves, or I don't think it's something people can expect from you and on telling them why you decide to have kids. It's just like, yeah, you decide to have kids because you want to have kids. So the reason why he said that is he always said it's about the why and not the how. If you know the why, you're going to figure out the how. So to say it in a sentence, the reason why we decided to have kids is to fulfill our purpose, which is create a world that best for all. And this is also the intrinsic purpose of our baby and for our future children. In a sense that for me in that role, I see myself as, I break down my purposes, I break them down, and I always go to the one that I can see in 10 or 5 years. And when I break it down, it's like my purpose is to give the best education to my kids so that they can create a world that's best for all. See, it's always go back to that end principle. Why? Because as a parent, I know every parent will say this, but the thing is, we don't apply it. And that's what I was talking about earlier, is we weren't taught on how to apply the vision that we have for our children. So the reason why the purpose of you having kids matters is it's going to guide you on the decision you're going to make, how you're going to birth, how you're going to feed them, the education, the community who are going to be around your kids. That's how it's like your guideline. And this is the way we are gonna educate our kids. And as I was sharing earlier, it's crucial to make that process, I'm not gonna use the word easy, but maybe manageable, or let's just use easy for now. It make it easier if you prepare even before, like I said, you become a parent. Become a parent before you get pregnant. And how did we do that? I'm gonna share for me, and he's gonna share share on his end. I think when I was 22, I one day said to myself, I don't want to have kids. Yes, I also said that at some point. And why? I remember one day I just looked at my life. It was a mess, and I wanted to achieve stuff, but I was not disciplined. That was really the one point. There were other stuff, but the discipline wasn't there. So I asked myself, how am I going to be able to support a kid if even me, myself, I can't do the stuff I plan to do? You know how a day before you're like, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m., I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you plan, and a month after you see that your life haven't changed, even went backward. So in those moments, I was like, it wouldn't make sense for me to bring a child in this world, because I know that child is going to be the reflection of me. That child is going to be the reflection of my habits. So it's going to be unfair on me to be that, but expect my kid to be that role, that model that I envision in my head. And unfortunately, parents do this. How do I know? I had a parent. I am a child, and I also had a parent, and I can see that point of, you are not perfect, but you expect your kid to do this and this and this. Sometimes you know that something is not best to do, but you still do it. But then when a kid does it, you get pissed and you maybe spank them, whatever, in a sense of, how dare you do this? Meanwhile, even you are not even doing the stuff that you said you were going to do. So that's the first step to be able to really embark in this journey, being ready in the sense of stability. I'm not saying ready in the sense of you know it all, it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be perfected, but we are not perfect yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but and when we say yet, it can be in our next life, but that's not the point anyway. So the purpose of having your kid, your starting point, is gonna be crucial. So we wanted to share our starting point on that. And if I have to go back to finish my story so that he can share his. So when I had that realization of, I'm not who I want to be, so I can't be bringing kids and expect them to be that, even if I'm not. How am I going to teach them something I don't know? So, but then at some point I realized I do want to have kids. So I said to myself, instead of wanting to avoid my inadequacy, I should learn. Because I was telling myself I don't want to have kids because I knew I wouldn't be a good parent. So I realized for myself that, if you are able to know you're going to be a good parent, are you then going to have kids? And the answer was yes. So that's when I told myself, I'm going to find out how to be a good parent. And like I said, at that time, I say a school. And then when I will see that I'm ready, have the credential, then I will have children. And so fast forward, I met my brother, introduced me to this amazing community. And I remember he shared some video with me of the kids in this community. And I kid you not, was Max 3 at the time. When I saw a video with his dad, he was playing with circuit. And I saw that kid talking about resistor, and he was explaining what they are, how they work. And mind you, I'm studying mechanical engineering and I don't know.
Right.
Why? Because at school you just memorize. So this kid is there doing those circuits, explaining it, why it works, why this happened and this happened, and I'm there. I don't understand. I was just like, this kid he knows. Meanwhile, I'm just memorizing. So that struck me. I was like, I want this tool. I want to join this community. And my brother was like, yeah, there's a group of parents. The dad you even saw on the video, there's a community behind them, and there are calls where we lead and they lead, and then they share their process. Other parents do this. I was like, sign me in, give it to me. So that's when I joined the community. And since then, every meeting I've been on, I've called, I've used the tool every single day to support myself, to work on my trauma, my points, my weaknesses, my vision. Why do I want to have it? What would make sense, etc. So I've been working on that for 3 years before I got pregnant. And I would say every human being needs to be prepared the moment they are born. But 3 years is what I got before I got here. And it doesn't mean that if you are watching this and you're already pregnant, you should be like, no, you can still start where you are at. But the reality is, if you do the process was before, it's gonna support you even more, you know. So that's how I came to this. So now he's gonna share.
Yeah, so amazing share, by the way. Incredible story, right? Where she's come from, where she's at now, how she's going to be the most amazing mother for our family and our children, right? So grateful to be with you, Sandra. For me, like, my story kind of started like on this journey to parenthood when I started to see where the world was heading, right? I've been walking this process for some time, but I was self-interested in the fact of, okay, I just want to be able to educate myself so that I can be, the best. I can be rich. I can, have everything going for me and, just live my own good life, right? So I originally started from that starting point of, okay, I just want things for myself. But when I realized and, because I was able to educate myself, because I was able to process more, because I was able to see more of where the world was going, recognize patterns, right? I started to realize the people that are running the world right now, right, they don't have kids, right? And because
some of them
don't have kids, and because some of them don't have kids, they're making decisions based from different starting points than people that do have kids, right? And people that do have kids, their best interest is in their kids, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that their kids have a better world to live in, right? So looking at that dichotomy of, okay, I want the best for myself, but the best for myself also would include the best for everybody else, right? Fundamentally speaking, you can say logically speaking. So if the people that are running the show are making decisions based off, their own self-interest as well, that means nobody at the end of the day is actually going to get what they all need. Right? So when I started to look at that and I started to realize, okay, as a man, my purpose is to give, right? My purpose is to go out, give, share, create so that I can also give back to my family and my community, our community, really, right? Because we were all one. I realized that by having kids, I'd be able to take that purpose, that understanding, and just myself to the next level because I would have more to give. I would have more to give for, right? So rather than just thinking about, okay, am I good? Am I okay? Do I have everything that I need? The more responsibility that I take on, more responsibility that I took on, it started to click that, okay, the more I actually be able to give because that's more people to support, right? So at the end of the day, since, my purpose fundamentally and our purpose here with what we're creating, the group we have, and all the other people that we're involved in or involved with is to create the best life for everybody. That includes having a family of our own so that we can see in a microcosm how the world's going to play out. Because maybe you've heard this term before, as above, so below, right? The above is the world at a global scale, right? And since right now we're in war, we're in turmoil, right? The world's in a crazy direction. That's actually a reflection of what's happening inside every person's individual world, right? Whether it's between you and you are having arguments, you're having doubts with yourself. That's a reflection.
Fighting with yourself.
Yeah, that's a reflection of what's happening at the world at global scale. If you're married, if you have a partner, a girlfriend, boyfriend, and you have arguments with them, that's also just a reflection of what's happening in the bigger world. That's a mini war, right? In between your own household, right? If you're having arguments, you're having trouble with your own children, that's also a reflection, right? And so I realized in order to be able to change the world, we have to first start changing ourselves. We have to start changing our families, our communities, right? And I'd never be able to see the bigger picture without having a family of my own, right? And so that's just another dimension that's supported me to see, okay, how can we actually give the best support, the best service to everybody that we come in contact with is through also having family of our own, right? And when you see the results that, if there's nothing left to prove, right? We've been doing this for some time, right? So we don't have anything to prove, but just our child coming into the world, them getting exceptional results, you're going to see, okay, this is something that, I wish I was a part of, right?
Yeah.
I need to be a part of it, right? And we welcome you. We welcome you with open arms because come check us out. Come join us. What we're doing is something that every person needs, even if they don't realize it.
And really something he said of knowing that you have that purpose and then you have your family and your kid where you can create that. It's like a blank canvas of creating a new generation. We call them the second wave. We are the first wave. The second wave are gonna have, like I always say this, I have 26 years of trauma to work on. Meanwhile, they're not gonna have that. How amazing is that gonna looks like when they are 5, 6? And I am so excited to look at this video in 5 years, and look at my child and look at this video, watch this video again and be like he said, it's proven. And sometimes people don't understand why we are so certain, 100% certain that this child, all our children, but for now it's just her. I call her my best for all baby. Having children that are effective in their utmost potential, doing what's best for all is the key. I'm gonna be sure living to this earth when I die, that okay, while I was also working on changing the system to what's best for all, I also created and let's just say an entity that I'm sure when I'm not here will be equipped to continue this purpose, because it's gonna be maybe in the fifth wave that we're gonna actually have the vision that we're having. But it doesn't mean we're not gonna start doing it, because I know as a parent, leaving a world to your kids where they're just gonna be in war and abuse, it is not the best in the sense that you wouldn't want that yourself. Actually, we would have want our parents to do this already, but they didn't, and it's fine. We forgive that. We now take the full responsibility to make sure that the next generation is educated effectively. Effective parenting, it's possible. And like I said, sometimes people can be surprised how certain you are. And I tell you, I am 100% certain this child is gonna have an education like the world haven't seen yet. But we already seen it because we are in this community. See what I'm saying? If you're in this community, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, it can seem like what? But there's 100% certainty. And I wish every upcoming parent will have this, because it can be something where people are just like, I don't know. And you see some people during their pregnancy, they go into depression because they're like, I'm not gonna be a good mom, I'm gonna be but it doesn't cross my mind at all. That part doesn't mean I'm gonna be perfect, no, but it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing starting raising my child with this tool, this process. So if it's something that speaks to you, if we said anything in this video that you're like, this resonates with me, reach out and let's together build an amazing world, like an amazing community where your kids, and I always say this to people, like when you know the direction you want to take with your kids' education, that's where you start understanding why building community is important, because you don't want your kid to be around other kids that are raised without meaning. You know, it's unfortunate to say it, but would you want your kid, like we wouldn't want our kid to be around other kids that the only thing they know is a tablet, for example. A kid that if they don't have the tablet and they're on the screen, then they don't exist. That's just an example.
Yeah, and the last thing that I'll add is that I know a handful of people that say that they don't want to have kids because of what's happening in the world, right? They're afraid to have kids, or they think that it's not going to be right to have kids because of the direction that the world is in, right? And that's really the only thing that's holding them back, to bring their kids into a world that is in turmoil, a world that is in chaos. But once I saw, okay, it is possible to change, not just myself, but through changing myself, I can change the world. Then I was like, okay, this just makes sense, right? Because I don't have anything to fear anymore. I don't have to fear the world is going to affect my children. The world's going to affect my family, because I have the resources and we have the tools to be able to support them, to be stable, to be geniuses, to be leaders, right? And if you didn't think that that was possible, right? Maybe you always wanted to have an impact in the world. This is the time, right? This is now. We are here. So let's have a conversation, right? Reach out, join us. Let's see what makes sense for you and how we can support each other to be able to bring about the best world possible, because it is possible, but you have to be a part of this to do it. Okay?
Yeah, it's possible for you. Like I said, whether you're already pregnant or you are planning in the future to be a parent, if it is in 5 years, 10 years, like I said, it's actually time. It's the best time for you to start preparing. Even if you're going to have your kid in 10 years, it's actually the best time to start preparing to being a parent in 10 years. And remember, like I said, if you want to be a doctor, you're not going to wait until the day you want to perform surgery that you're going to go and be like, I want to perform surgery today. You have to start practicing before. And if you're already like pregnant, it's time to start. You have to start it now. If you already have kids, you have it, like it's more pertinent a moment, because you're already unfortunately in consequences, because maybe your kids, they don't listen to you anymore. There's no connection there. When it comes to being able to read, they don't know how to read. They can't focus 2 seconds. The only thing they want is have a tablet. They don't eat well, meaning the only thing they want to eat are candy, fast food. They just want to stay in their room. They are obese. Like whatever you're going through right now as a parent, I'm telling you, within our community, someone came in having the same problem you are going through right now, and then they start using the tool, having a community of people you can reach out anytime to have support. People that have worked through the things you're going through right now are going to be there to support you every step of the way, to show you that even though you are already in consequences, there is a way forward to change. So So don't wait, because the more you wait, the difficult is gonna be. The difficult is gonna be to break the programming pattern, the habits. So I'm gonna let my husband finish this video.
Yeah, fundamentally speaking, bottom line is any problem that you have, any fear that you're going through, any worry that you have, any concern that you have about your family, your children, your future, right? Anything at all, whether it's money, relationships, anything, we can support you to solve that, to resolve that, right? But it starts with a conversation. So let's talk. Always available for people that are serious and are open to
only serious.
This type of stuff.
Are you a serious parent? Are you a serious future parent? Are you serious about your kid's education?
Right. Are you serious?
Are you serious?
Serious.
Don't reach out if you're not serious. Don't bother my man if you're not serious. I say it again. Don't
Gotta be qualified.
Don't waste his time that he can spend with me
and my baby.
Yeah.
So let's talk. All the information is down below. Reach out, text me, call me personally directly, and let's see what we can possibly do for you and together. Yeah? Yeah. This is Limitless Education Group, and we will talk to you soon. Au revoir.